Somewhere beneath the surface of this Earth, it exists. Buried, armored, hidden, the fortress that keeps the world connected. This is the system behind Starlink, and almost no one knows it's there. $100 billion, not into the sky, into the ground, deep within the fortified Earth. Reinforced, classified, indestructible. This is what protects every signal Starlink sends. 6,000 satellites above, a global network in orbit. One fortress below, the hidden anchor of the system. The satellites are the visible face. The ground infrastructure, that's the weapon. Nothing about this facility appears on any public map. No street address, no registered name. It was built to survive what most structures cannot, and it has never gone offline. In the age of digital warfare, control the signal, control the world. Elon Musk's team understood this from day one. The satellites were always the distraction. This underground fortress, this is the real power. SpaceX broke ground on this facility in secret. No press releases, no announcements, just concrete, steel, and silence. Miles of tunnel drilled into bedrock. It runs on its own power grid. Independent of the national infrastructure, in a blackout, it stays on. In an EMP strike, it stays on. Every chamber inside is sealed for pressure, designed to withstand seismic events. The walls are poured in layers, steel, concrete, steel again. Nothing gets in unless the system lets it in. Every second, this facility processes terabytes of encrypted signal, from orbit to ground, from ground to user. The round trip happens in milliseconds, managed from exactly here, nowhere else. The world above has no idea what exists below. Workers arrive before sunrise and leave after dark. The facility has no public name, no public face. It functions day and night. 7 levels deep beneath the surface, each level more restricted than the last. Level 1, logistics, handling the flow. Level 7, unknown, the silent core. Every 90 minutes, the satellites circle the Earth. Every handoff must be perfect. A 0.3-second failure would drop thousands of connections. This team has not failed in over 4 years. The facility is under constant attack, not with bombs, with code. State-level hackers probe its systems every single day. Every attempt is logged, every attack is repelled. New hardware arrives regularly, always by controlled transport. Never commercial freight, never publicly documented. Each component is tested for 96 hours before going live. Redundancy is not a feature here. It is the entire philosophy. Maintenance windows last exactly 43 minutes. They occur at 3 a.m. local time every 72 hours. The facility never fully stops. But for 43 minutes, the world holds its breath. The facility stores enough fuel for 180 days of continuous operation. No grid, no dependency. It is completely self-sufficient. If the entire national power system collapsed today, this facility would run until spring, powering the connection. Every orbit, every handoff, every signal log, recorded in physical form, locked away. 3 copies, stored in 3 separate vaults. No signal leaves this archive, not one byte. There isn't one fortress, there are 2. A primary node and a shadow twin. If one fails, the other absorbs everything in under 2 seconds. They have never both been down simultaneously. The facility operates in 3 shifts, 24 hours, 365 days, a constant vigil. The people inside know the stakes. Security is absolute. They speak little, they never miss a shift. Each antenna can track up to 12 satellites simultaneously. Elevation angles change by fractions of a degree every second. The system never loses lock, absolute precision. Not in a storm, not in a sandstorm, not ever. The antennas never stop moving, a relentless dance. 100 small motors, each one critical. If one freezes, the system compensates. If 10 freeze, that's when the alerts begin. Beneath the communications layer is the brain. Custom silicon designed in-house, proprietary power. Not sold commercially, not available anywhere else. It computes orbital corrections 800 times per second. Behind the red door, quantum encryption. Keys generated with zero predictability, unbreakable. The communications are unbreakable, point to point. At least, by any known method, a wall of math. The outer perimeter is staffed around the clock. Motion sensors, thermal imaging, armed drones, constant watch. No vehicle has ever breached the perimeter without authorization. The response time, 7 seconds, lethal efficiency. At peak operation, this facility handles 4.7 million simultaneous connections. Ukraine, Gaza, Indonesia, rural America, linked by light. All routing through this room, the heart of the web. All dependent on what happens in this facility. Every second counts. The facility has endured Category 4 winds, atmospheric pressure rising, temperatures of -52 Fahrenheit, built to last, seismic activity measuring 6.1 on the Richter scale. Stand by. It has never missed a beat, structural lock confirmed. Every 6 months, a full simulation, level testing. Every possible failure, every possible attack, scenario active. The drills are run by external red teams. Time is the enemy. The facility has passed everyone, professional and calm. The night team always leaves the same message for the day team. 4 words written in the handover log, reviewing metrics. All systems nominal, proceed, clear for the next shift. 4 words that mean everything. The cycle repeats. The servers generate enough heat to warm a small city, recycled. All of it is recycled, pure thermodynamic efficiency. The cooling system alone cost $400 million to install. Essential. Temperature variance is held within 1 degree Celsius, always. Every critical component backed up in the depot, ready. Mean replacement time for any system, under 9 minutes, fast. Not because they need it often, but because they can't wait. Because 9 minutes is all the downtime the world can afford. They share everything in real time, total redundancy. Not a second of latency between them, perfect mirrors. If one is hit, the other takes the full load, underground. It has been tested, it works, the backbone holds strong. There may be a third, hidden in the high peaks, a cold standby node, never publicly acknowledged, waiting. A last resort buried where no satellite image resolves, secure. An insurance policy against the unthinkable, the final line. This facility is not purely commercial, it is national policy. Government contracts run through it, redacted and binding. Defense agencies depend on what it carries, strategic value. The line between private and national security has blurred, finalized. 4 years, under the cover of darkness, powering up. 0 unplanned outages, a perfect record of service. Not one. The count continues, day by day. And tomorrow, the counter ticks forward. The world stays on. This is only part 1 of the story. The fortress surface. The infrastructure, the surface, what lies within. What lies beneath? What truly powers Starlink's global dominance? That story goes deeper, much deeper. End part 1. The fortress wasn't built in 1 phase, it was built in 7, over 9 years, each phase classified separately, and the 7th phase may still be underway. More than 4 million cubic feet of earth were removed, transported at night, dispersed across multiple sites, so no satellite image would reveal what was being built. It was an operation before the operation. The main chamber walls are 14 feet of reinforced concrete, designed to survive a direct conventional munitions strike. An airburst detonation above ground would be absorbed. The facility below would not register the event. The entire operational floor floats on 128 seismic isolation pads. A 7.0 earthquake beneath the facility would be felt as a slight tremor. The servers would not notice. Inside the Faraday cage, nothing gets in or out electromagnetically. No directed energy, no EMP pulse. The most critical components live permanently in this room, shielded from everything the electromagnetic spectrum can throw. The water reserves hold 12 million gallons, enough to sustain the facility for 6 months without resupply. Every drop is filtered, cycled, and recovered. Nothing is wasted, everything is critical. The hardware installed here is not off the shelf. Custom designed, proprietary to SpaceX, manufactured to tolerances tighter than aerospace components. Because in this facility, it is aerospace. Starlink operates across Q, Ka, and V-band frequencies, every band monitored, every interference event logged. Automatic rejection systems suppress interference in under 40 milliseconds. Signal quality degrades for no user ever. The next generation communicates by laser. Between satellites and ground, the facility is already testing it. Not theory, hardware, running now. In the event of a generator failure, batteries engage in 8 milliseconds. Before a single system notices, the grid has changed. 22,000 cells, 480 megawatt hours of stored energy. The light never flickers. The surface array is the facility's interface with space. 6 high-gain dishes, 200 phased array terminals, capable of handling 96 simultaneous satellite contacts. The sky is never empty above this compound. Starlink has lost satellites, hardware fails in orbit. The system has never let a user notice. The constellation heals itself, and this facility commands the healing. Heads of state have visited this facility, off the record. No press pool, no cameras. What they saw determined decisions at the highest levels of government. Those decisions have already been made. Every day, between 800 and 2,000 intrusion attempts from nation-state actors, criminal groups, unknown sources. Everyone is traced. Every trace is filed. Some of those files have been shared with intelligence agencies. The facility doesn't just receive, it commands every maneuver of every satellite in the constellation. An average of 340 thruster burns per day, commanded from this room to avoid debris, to maintain altitude, to protect the grid. 3 nations have attempted to jam Starlink's signal. Each attempt was defeated within hours. The countermeasures are classified, but they have been used, and they worked. The fortress is not defined by its walls. Its defensive perimeter extends 80 miles in every direction. Eyes and ears hidden in ordinary-looking structures, watching everything, flagging everything. Artificial intelligence monitors the facility alongside humans. Every camera, every sensor, every log entry, it detects anomalies before human operators would notice. In 3 years, it has flagged 4 incidents that mattered. 1 person, 1 console, and the ability to maneuver 6,000 satellites. The most powerful single command seat in the history of communications, operated by someone most people have never heard of. The construction never stopped. Phase 8 is already in progress. What it will house has not been disclosed to any public agency. Investors know it exists, they know little else. The network of fortresses is expanding globally. New sites in undisclosed international territories, each one built to the same specification, each one invisible to the public eye. When hardware leaves this facility, it is never whole. Drives wiped, then crushed, then incinerated. No classified hardware has ever reached secondary markets. The protocol ensures it never will. SpaceX's legal team fights 2 wars simultaneously. One against governments that want access to the data, one against governments that want to shut it down. So far, they have won both. The drone patrol runs every 20 minutes. Autonomous flight. No human pilot required for routine sweeps. Human oversight only when an anomaly is detected. The drones log everything, every pass, every reading. The threat level changes. Not public, not announced. The facility adjusts internally. From the outside, nothing changes. Everything changes. The people inside this facility cannot simply leave. Some shifts, particularly deep-level assignments, last 72 hours. Medical care is provided on-site. The facility is designed to be a world unto itself. The facility sustains the people who sustain the network. Mental health professionals are on-site. Always. Extended assignments are voluntary and well compensated. Those who stay tend to stay for years. Getting cleared to work here takes 11 months. Background investigations, polygraphs, psychological assessments, foreign contacts, financial reviews, family interviews. The process is designed to find everything, and it does. The next generation of ground terminal is being finalized here. Smaller, more powerful, harder to detect, designed to operate in denied environments, conflict zones, embargoed territories. It will reach users the current system cannot. The defense cell operates under separate authority. Access requires an additional clearance level above the facility's own. What happens inside does not appear in SpaceX's public filings. It never will. Every jamming attempt teaches the system. Every interference pattern, cataloged and studied. The adversaries keep changing their methods. The facility keeps adapting faster. What you have seen is level 1 through 4. Levels 5, 6, and 7 remain out of public knowledge. The 3D model shows what exists. It does not show what those levels are for. People have tried to approach uninvited. Most are lost travelers. Some are not. Every approach is assessed, logged, and, if necessary, followed. Nothing that approaches this facility disappears from the record. The next phase isn't about bandwidth, it's about sovereignty, the ability to operate outside any government's reach. The fortress is becoming something more than a facility. If the world above collapsed tomorrow, this facility would continue, the satellites would continue, the signal would continue. It was built for exactly that scenario. It happens more than the public knows. Surveillance of the facility, conducted by individuals who know enough to find it, but not enough to stay invisible while trying. Conducted by individuals who know enough to find it, but not enough to stay invisible while trying. In 2022, a zero-day exploit was discovered inside the perimeter, not from a criminal, from a government. The breach was contained before a single byte was exfiltrated. The incident has never been publicly disclosed. It remains a classified event. The breach was contained and the system was fully secured before any data could be lost. They left in a hurry, but not before the facility recorded their frequencies. And not before the drone had a facial scan. The operators, eventually too. They left in a hurry, but not before the facility recorded their frequencies. And not before the drone had a facial scan. The operators, eventually too. The hardware implant was 0.3 millimeters wide, designed to phone home through innocuous-looking traffic. It was found before it ever entered an active system. Supply chain security is now the highest scrutinized process in the facility. No chip enters without absolute verification. In 4 years, 7 employees have been removed for security violations. 3 were innocent rule breakers. 4 were not. 2 of those 4 are now subjects of federal investigation. Trust is earned every day and verified every hour. The internal fortress is as strong as the outer wall. The storm of November 2023 tested the limits. Category 4 sustained winds, direct lightning strikes. Internal temperatures spiked, power surged, the facility absorbed every bit of it. Internal temperatures spiked, power surged, the facility absorbed every bit of it. The facility held, the constellation held, not one outage. The coordinated supply chain attack was sophisticated. 6 vendors, 6 components, 1 singular purpose. None of them reached an active system, but someone out there had done their homework. Backup protocols were activated, reserve stocks pulled, alternate vendors verified. 72 hours later, the crisis resolved. All flagged shipments quarantined, replacements installed. Images of the facility surface periodically, always taken from commercial satellite providers. Each time, legal action follows within hours. The images disappear, the source continues searching. The legal wall is as high as the perimeter fence. No data leaks, no exceptions. The internet has a way of forgetting what it was never meant to see. Unauthorized aircraft enter restricted airspace twice a month. Most are drones, some are manned. Everyone is intercepted and diverted. 2 have been forced down. Neither operator was local. Air defense protocols are automatic. Intercepts are measured in minutes. The sky above is as secure as the ground below. No unauthorized eyes from the air. In year 2 of operations, a real fire. Electrical fault contained in under 12 seconds. No hardware was lost, no data was lost, no person was harmed. The report ran 400 pages. The post-incident review was exhaustive. Every component checked, every protocol refined. The attacks aren't always physical or digital, sometimes they're informational. False reports of outages and breaches designed to erode confidence and trigger market response. The communications team responds within minutes. Counter-narratives are precise and measured. The campaign was documented and reported. The source neutralized. Confidence restored. A foreign government named this facility by function, by purpose, by strategic value. The naming triggered a complete security overhaul. What was hard to breach became nearly impossible. 47 protocol changes in 30 days. Every checkpoint hardened, every system reinforced. The fortress grew stronger. The target became too hard to hit. Security is now absolute. The Red Team had 3 months and unlimited resources. They found 144 vulnerabilities, mapping attack surfaces, probing every vector. They were given full knowledge of the architecture. Not one was rated above low severity. It was called the most resilient system ever evaluated. The defense architecture held against the best the world had to offer. Success confirmed. Someone tried to deorbit a satellite remotely through a compromised component. The attempt was blocked 0.9 seconds before execution. The injection vector closed, satellite nominal. The component is now part of classified evidence, a lesson in supply chain vigilance. Another threat neutralized, another secret secured in the archive. The fortress stands. A security researcher approaching on foot. He was detained. His equipment was reviewed. He was released. Without his data, he has not returned. He also has not published. The perimeter extends far beyond the fence. Every heat signature is tracked. Every move recorded. Curiosity can be a dangerous thing, especially when directed at the world's most sensitive grid. 2 countries now have demonstrated ASAT capability, the ability to physically destroy satellites in orbit. The question is not whether it will happen. The question is how quickly the constellation can regenerate. Strategic response options are prepared. Kinetic countermeasures verified. The grid is ready for war. The facility has a plan for losing 300 satellites overnight. Replacement launch authorized within 6 hours. Coverage restored within 72 hours. The plan has never been needed, but it is ready, always. The factory is already building the next generation. The supply is endless. The grid is immortal. Signing off on the future, protecting the present, the grid never sleeps, no interruption allowed. Every 24 hours, every encryption key in the constellation is replaced, a new key for every link. The window an adversary has to exploit traffic is under 24 hours, and likely much less, secure always. A global network under absolute lock. Keys change before they can be cracked. The link is ironclad. Communication is a right. Privacy is a mandate. The grid protects both with every key cycle. 4 governments have demanded access to Starlink user data. 4 times, the answer was no. 3 of those governments escalated to trade disputes. None has succeeded. The law is the shield. Jurisdiction is absolute. Data protection is uncompromising. The answer remains access denied. No backdoors, no compromises, no unauthorized eyes on user data, ever. The grid belongs to the users. The sun itself is a threat. A severe geomagnetic storm can strand satellites. In 2022, 40 were lost. Since then, the protocol has changed. They don't lose satellites to storms anymore. The shield is ready. Maneuvering to safety, protecting the hardware, maintaining the uptime. The storm passes harmlessly. All metrics green, all systems nominal, 3.4 million users unaffected. The sun remains watched. Starlink executes more collision avoidance maneuvers than any other operator, 25,000 per year, every year. Everyone commanded from this facility. The sky is crowded. This team keeps it manageable, no risks taken. Orbital mechanics verified. Maneuver burn confirmed, 0 risk at closest approach. Safety is the priority. The grid avoids the junk. The path is clear. The heartbeat of the constellation continues without a hitch. The attempt to clone a terminal proved a point. A physical device is not enough. Hardware is only part 1. Authentication goes beyond credentials. It looks at the behavior, the signature, the unique fingerprint. The behavioral layer, that cannot be cloned. Rejecting the anomaly, protecting the gateway. Success, tracing the source, documenting the breach. The fortress knows who is knocking. Access is forever denied. If the facility is ever at risk of capture, the data dies first. 90 seconds, every system. If the facility is ever at risk of capture, the data dies first. 90 seconds, every system, every drive. Triggering the cascading deletion, wiping the memory, turning the secrets into digital dust. Seconds count. The constellation continues from the shadow twin. The fortress can be taken. Its secrets cannot. We move on. They are being watched from orbit. Foreign surveillance satellites tracking the constellation, mapping every move, trying to map the signal architecture. But the architecture changes before they finish. The grid is fluid, reporting the behavior, sharing the threat. The watcher is being watched. No secret is safe from the grid. Rerouting around the observer, quietly abandoning the shadowed link. The grid remains ghost-like and invisible. The system is not perfect. There have been close calls. Each one is studied with more intensity than the last. Analyzing the 9-second window, finding the flaw, eliminating the single point of failure, never again. Updating the design, adding the redundancy, the fortress is built on the lessons of its near misses. Stronger. The greatest fear is not the enemy outside, it is complacency within. The review never stops. Improvement is life. Not every threat arrives with malicious intent. Infrastructure failure can be as dangerous as an attack. Same response. Monitoring the pipes, checking the seals. The facility treats every accident with the same absolute priority. Identifying the source, sealing the breach, ventilating the area, 18 minutes to safety, 18 minutes to norm. The protocols do not distinguish between accident and attack. Safety is absolute. The facility is secured once more. When the world destabilizes, this room feels it first. Before the news, before the government briefings. When the world destabilizes, this room feels it first. Before the news, before the government briefings. The risk assessment map glows red. Contingency plans are pulled. Rerouting is initiated. The grid anticipates. Diverting to safer zones, protecting the assets. The signals tell the story, and this room reads everyone. The facility is regularly pushed beyond design limits, deliberately, to find where the edges are. 110%. Cooling pushed to the max. Thermal margins verified. The hardware holds under the strain, testing the breaking point. 72 hours at peak capacity. No failures logged, no systems offline. The edges have been moved further out. Performance is the only metric. Success is the only option. The grid is stronger today than yesterday. Mission accomplished. When the ground station was destroyed, the fortress responded in 4 minutes, rerouted, in 4 minutes, online. Traffic diverted through adjacent nodes, continuity maintained, millions of people back online. War doesn't break the link. Restoring the lifeline, connecting the disconnected. In war, 4 minutes can mean everything. Connectivity is hope. All metrics green, all users connected, the fortress responded, the link held, resilience demonstrated in real time. In a crisis, Starlink becomes a lifeline, the beating heart of a lifeline. Demand spikes are enormous, 600%. Algorithms prioritize priority traffic. Emergency services first, military channels second, civilian communication maintained. The operations floor manages the surge, reserve capacity unlocked, the peak absorbed, the constellation holds, mission secure. The constellation is alive, 1,000 moving lights overhead, a grid built on resilience. The facility's leadership received a classified warning, specific, detailed, and credible. Threat level, critical. 72 hours. Immediate security posture shift. Every protocol tightened, every checkpoint doubled, vigilance at an all-time high. Ready. The attack that was planned never came, deterred by the posture shift. The window passed without incident, secure. Midnight passes, the threat recedes. No one knows why it didn't happen, but everyone knows the fortress was ready. After every threat, real or potential, comes the review. Not to assign blame, but to make the system stronger. Always. Reviewing every decision, every timeline, finding the milliseconds that could be saved. The report is the blueprint for tomorrow. 3 areas for improvement identified. Protocol updates implemented, tested, signed off. The facility exits stronger than ever. System hardened, security absolute. The threat shaped the fortress absorbed the threat, ready for the next. The fortress has been tested by weather, by code, by human intent. It is not broken. Calm above, focused below. Monitors glowing, operators focused, systems nominal, 1,260 days without interruption. The count continues. Success. Tested by the deliberate efforts of nation-states. It remains operational, always, tonight, right now, in the dark, always. Watching the world, watching the sky, watching the grid. The silent guardians of the future are always awake, secure. 6,000 satellites, all orbiting, all protected, all connected from here, from this very spot, the heart of the grid. The world sleeps. The grid stays awake, monitoring every pulse, maintaining every link. The silent watch continues, night after night. Every link, every heartbeat, monitored by the silent guardians. One hand on the wheel, one eye on the stars, grid secure. Data streams from the edge of space, returning to the fortress. Information is the lifeblood. The grid is the vein. Always on. Below, the fortress. Above, the grid. Between them, a link that has never broken. Not once, not yet, not ever. Bursting into the night air. The connection remains absolute. The facility stands as the anchor for the stars, link secure. The constellation is alive. 1,000 moving lights overhead. A grid built on resilience. A grid that will never break. The fortress holds the line. The grid holds the future. Not once, not yet, not ever. The story continues, forever connected. What you have seen is already history. The next version is already being built. Deeper, larger, more capable. Designed for a satellite constellation that will number 42,000. The next facility will not be operated by humans alone. AI will handle 80% of routine decisions. Human operators will handle everything else. The partnership between person and machine redefined again. Starlink Gen 3 will not be an upgrade. It will be a different system entirely. Faster, lower latency, more resilient. And the fortress below will be rebuilt to match it. Intersatellite lasers mean the data may not need the ground at all. From satellite to satellite, around the Earth, in orbit. The underground fortress becomes the last resort, not the first. But it will still be there, just in case. The fortress is connecting to the ocean floor. A subsea fiber link, adding redundancy beyond the continent. If every road, every grid, every terrestrial system fails, the undersea path remains operational and secure. The next fortress will include quantum computing at its core. This is not for the sake of encryption alone, for real-time orbital mechanics at a scale classical computers cannot match. 42,000 satellites and a quantum brain managing all of them. Direct-to-cell changes the fortress's mission. Every unconnected human on Earth is becoming a potential user. 5 billion people without reliable connectivity. The fortress is being built for all of them. The sky above commercial aviation is now a Starlink zone. Every major airline, every ocean crossing. The fortress below, carrying the data that streams 30,000 feet above your head. You never know it, it always works. The oceans are no longer dark zones. Every vessel, every fishing boat, every tanker, connected through the constellation and managed through the fortress. The sea is no longer alone. When everything else fails, Starlink arrives first. Faster than power is restored. Faster than roads are cleared. The facility fortress processes the emergency. The signal carries the hope of the people. The military applications are no longer theoretical. They are operational, deployed, classified. Starlink has become a defense asset. The fortress that protects it has become a defense asset too. The fortress is already being considered for the moon as the ground node for humanity's next communications network. Earth to orbit to lunar surface, one connected arc. The fortress that was built for low Earth orbit is reaching further. The new fortress is ahead of schedule, and already expanding beyond original plans. The scope grows as the mission grows, and the mission is always growing. The humans inside the new fortress are designed for it too. These specialized workspaces are built for peak human performance. Operational schedules are built for optimal cognition and focus. The next generation of operators will be the best trained in history. On the day the last coverage gap closes, no one will announce it. No press conference, no celebration in public. Somewhere in this facility, a map will turn entirely green, and the world will simply be connected. The fortress has made Starlink ungovernable by any single nation. That fact is celebrated by some. The sheer scale of this power terrifies others. The debate will not be resolved until the power does not matter. When the new fortress comes online, the old one will not retire. It will serve as the secondary node. 2 fortresses, 1 mission. The redundancy compounds, the resilience deepens. The new fortress is being hardened against weapons that don't fully exist yet. Directed energy, high-power microwave. The next generation of electromagnetic attack. The fortress is being built for tomorrow's threats. Today, $40 billion committed to the ground. More fortresses, more nodes, more resilience. The investment makes one thing clear. Starlink is not a product, it is an infrastructure. The fortress is only as good as the people inside it. The training program is the most rigorous in telecommunications. 800 hours of simulation, 6 months of supervised operation, then and only then a live shift. 10 years of continuous and unbreakable operations, 3,650 days. The record that no one knows about and everyone depends on. The fortress has multiplied across the globe. 1 became 2, 2 became 8. Each one equal to the original. Each one protecting the same unbreakable signal. The system now predicts attacks before they happen. Predictive threat intelligence, trained on years of attack data. The attackers are learning their lessons. The fortress is learning faster. The constellation grows every launch. Each new satellite, immediately under the protection of the fortress. Each one part of a system that has no single point of failure. By design, by obsession, by will, by 2035, the vision is complete. 42,000 satellites above, 24 fortresses below, a planet, connected, protected, permanent. Those who built it understand its weight. They have connected hospitals in conflict zones. They have given voice to the voiceless through high-tech access and resilience. The weight of what has been built settling on those who built it. A senior leader looking out at the mission continue. The fortress doesn't know who connects through it. It carries the signal equally. A child seeing a world they have never seen before. The signal doesn't discriminate. The teacher is also seeing it for the first time, learning alongside the children. A tiny blip on the global map, but visible, present, and counted. The people who work here don't see the scale, they see their console. A moment to breathe, the satellite map glowing peacefully behind them. The interface between human intention and orbital physics. The task is everything. Someone always has to see just the task, pulling back from the operations floor. The original fortress is still here, older, wiser, better. It absorbed 10 years of attacks, storms, failures, and pressure. The same scale, but the screens show more, the systems handle more, and it is still simply running. Forward, always forward. From the air, it is invisible. From the ground, it is unremarkable. From inside, it is everything. The most important building you've never seen. 2 worlds, 1 mission, the beauty above and the intensity below. The compound shrinking as the camera moves toward the clouds. The new fortress opens without a ceremony, no ribbon, no speech, just a command issued and received, systems lighting up across all levels. The moment the first satellite handoff is managed through the new node, and the constellation responds. A new era beginning. 2 fortresses, 1 constellation, east and west. Double the capacity, double the resilience, running simultaneously. The green dot's brighter, denser, managed from 2 primary nodes. 2 fortresses, 1 constellation. The most resilient communications network ever built, protecting and connected to every corner of the world. They don't know about the fortress. They never will. They just know the signal is there. That is the only thing that matters. Another shift, another night, another 6,000 satellites, held in the sky by the people in this room. The same 4 words, always the same 4 words. All systems nominal, proceed. $100 billion, buried, armored, hidden, protecting a constellation that connects a planet. The fortress that the world forgot to build, and one man decided to build anyway. It is here, it is real, and it will never stop. The signal carries the hope, the connection is permanent. Buried beneath the earth, it exists. Hidden, armored, classified, the fortress that keeps the world connected. Almost no one knows it's there. $100 billion, not into the sky, into the ground, far below the surface. Reinforced, classified, indestructible. This protects every single signal. 6,000 satellites circle above. The fortress remains guarded far below. The satellites are the face. The ground infrastructure is the weapon. Nothing about this facility appears on any map. No address, no public name. Built to survive what others cannot. And it has never gone offline. 14 feet of reinforced concrete, designed to survive direct strikes. Explosions above ground, powerful strikes, barely felt below, completely stable. The entire floor floats on air. On advanced seismic isolation systems, even a massive earthquake strike would barely even be noticed. Nothing ever enters this hidden chamber. Nothing ever escapes this underground fortress. The most critical systems live here, shielded from everything, forever. 12 million gallons of water, enough water for 6 months. Every single drop is filtered. Every drop is absolutely critical. Every second, terabytes of data, from high orbit to the ground, from the ground back to the user, all of it is managed right here. The world above has no idea. Workers arrive long before sunrise and leave long after dark. The system simply functions, always. 7 levels deep, each restricted. Each level becomes more restricted. Level 1, logistics. Level 7, unknown. Every 90 minutes on the dot, satellites circle the entire Earth. Every handoff must be perfect. Failure is simply not allowed. 800 to 2,000 attacks daily. From criminals, from governments. Every single attack is traced. Every trace is recorded forever. They often come very close. Much closer than they ever should. But they never come close enough. The system sees every movement. A major breach was detected. Sent from a hostile government source. Contained within just a few minutes' time. Absolutely no data was lost. Someone tried to destroy a satellite. They attempted the system attack remotely. The command was blocked instantly, only seconds before final system execution. Some nations can destroy satellites. The threat is very real. The response is always ready. The entire system will survive. Every single 24 hours. Every single master key is replaced. Every single connection is now secured. There are no second chances. Even the sun is a threat. Storms can destroy our satellites. Now the entire system adapts. And the entire secure system survives. If the world collapses tomorrow, this facility continues its deep operations. The satellites will always continue their work. The signal will always continue.